Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, video time. Music.
These
Top 10 British bands who never cracked America. Alright, let's go.
musical groups found fame in the UK, but they remained relatively obscure in the US.
That's familiar to me.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down
Guys,
our
I'm not a
picks.
huge music guy. I know that sounds weird because everyone listens to music, but I don't that much. Of course, I enjoy music. I enjoy all different types of music. It's just not my go-to, chill out medium. I feel like a lot of people it is. They go to music. I don't. I go to different things, I guess. But I do enjoy music. It's just that I am very much. I don't know as much. I am very likely, more than anyone, not going to recognize any of these bands. But I did recognize that kind of guitar riff. So let's go.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks.
I just hope no one's like offended if I don't recognize their band. It's just that doesn't say much because I don't recognize a lot of bands. So
Top
let's
10
go.
British bands who never cracked America. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're focusing on bands that never experienced continuous commercial success in America. Number 10, Supergrass.
Hey, I recognize this
For a
song.
British band to successfully cross over into America, it's crucial to capitalize upon the buzz. And for Oxford group Supergrass, well, they failed to expand beyond their native demographic. With their 1995 debut album I Should Coco, Supergrass briefly reached the #1 in the UK chart.
That is such a British-looking, like 90s rock album cover, and I love it.
And actually released 2 more albums by the end of the 90s. By that time though, music trends had changed significantly in the US and, well, Supergrass began to drift away, barely cracking the US Top 200 with 2002's Life on Other Planets. Sadly, it all ended with an internal Twitter beef. Number 9, Madness. During the late 70s and early 80s, this band was far more than just a one-hit wonder in the UK. In fact, Madness would even influence the American band that would ultimately become No Doubt.
Okay, I was going to say I recognize this song, which I do, but he said it's not only known as a one-hit wonder in the UK, which means this one probably reached the States, which is why it's familiar to me.
And like Gwen Stefani's versatile group, Madness didn't align themselves with a specific genre, as they blended together a variety of musical styles. With that being said, Madness was, in fact, linked to skinheads in their early days, which perhaps negatively affected larger-scale opportunities. Regardless, the UK band experienced great success during their initial 10-year run, but never once did one of their acclaimed albums crack the US Top 100 chart. Number 8, Take That.
I feel like, does America just have too ADHD? Is America too ADHD on its music trends? It's just, all right, no, that's not a thing anymore. We're on to this. Whereas Britain is more kind of steady rock kind of feel.
By the mid-90s, the legendary music executive Clive Davis signed this UK boy band to a record deal with Arista, but Take That had already begun to self-destruct.
I'm sure America is probably looked at by English artists as, regardless of if you want to, you even care about, on an artistic level of appealing to the American music palette, whether or not you care. If you want to make a lot of money, then that's a giant market over there of English speakers, and you got to pay attention to that, I guess, if you want the money. But if not, I'm sure a lot of people don't care about cracking in the US.
In their prime,
cracking in
Gary
the US.
Barlow
Does that make
stunned
sense?
critics with his songwriting skills, and a young Robbie Williams displayed his obvious star power. And so, Take That seemed primed for America. Yet, Williams quit in 1996, just as the pop scene was about to change in the United States. The group initially formed in the early 90s, and despite 3 well-received albums, Take That just didn't seem to have the right amount of mojo to keep it going, although the core members would later reunite with Williams in 2010.
Wash your mouth, son, or you'll find yourself floating home.
Number 7, Caban.
Hey! I definitely recognize
American
this.
indie fans have certainly heard of this group from Leicester, despite the fact that Casabian's lead singer Sergio Pizzorno once noted that he hates indie bands. So that's one thing to consider when thinking about Casabian's failed American crossover. In the UK, they reached number 4 on the UK charts with their self-titled 2004 debut, and the next several albums managed to reach number 1.
Cool album
By
cover.
2013, however, guitarist Jay Mellor actually left to play with Liam Gallagher, formerly of Oasis, while Tom Meehan cited unfinished business in America around the same time. However, the 2014 album 4813 failed to chart in the US, and maybe Casabian just wasn't ready for a committed American crossover. Number 6, Happy Mondays. Now this Mojoholics is what you call a Manchester band. From 1980 to
Manchester?
1993, Happy Mondays managed to gain quite the following.
My birth year, 93.
From 1980 to 1993, Happy Mondays managed to gain quite the following in the UK, certainly with their 1990 album Pills and Thrills and Bellyaches. But considering that a band like New Kids on the Block was big in the United States at the time, well, that's just one reason why the Happy Mondays sound failed to connect with the American mainstream. Even so, this is a band that heavily influenced some of the more notable UK bands of the 90s, such as Oasis and the Stone Roses.
Wonderwall?
Yet their sound embodies more of a distinct Euro vibe rather than trendy American hooks. Number 5, Stereophonics.
I've been down and I'm wondering why these little black clouds keep walking around with me.
From the late
I like
90s
that.
to the early 2000s, this Welsh band established a reputation for their killer live shows. However, Stereophonics ultimately dismissed original drummer Stuart Cable in 2003, reportedly because he was more interested in his TV show than the band. Sadly, Cable would pass away just 7 years later. In their prime, Stereophonics was known as one of the most talented UK bands, releasing 5 #1 albums throughout the 2000s. Yet only one of those, 2001's Just Enough Education to Perform, managed to crack the US Top 200 charts.
So maybe tomorrow I'll find my way home.
Despite the lack of American buzz, Stereophonics continues in their native Wales as one of the most highly regarded UK bands of the 21st century.
I love that song. That's them?
Native Wales as one of the most highly regarded UK bands of the 21st century. Number 4, Manic Street Preachers. Like many
I'm a simple person, okay? If it sounds good to my ears, I like it. It's just that. It's that simple. I really don't care about lyrics that much. Music is just not my medium that I go to for comfort or something that I know a lot of people go to it for. And so to a lot of people like that, this must sound really weird. Like, what? Do I have a soul or something? It's just, I enjoy music. It's just, I usually just listen to it when it comes on, or I don't usually like seek out to do it. I probably sound like an alien to a lot of people. But I just like it. This sounds good to me and I like it.
Number 4.
And so does this.
Number 4, Manic Street Preachers.
The words could be, you call it what you want, me being unsophisticated, right? I don't care. Just label it what you want. But, like, he could be singing about killing puppies or something like that, and I would just be like, this is a great song,
Like many overly ambitious rock bands, this Wales group infamously hyped up their 1992 debut album, Generation Terrorists, and, well, failed to crack the top 10 in the UK charts.
Well, the name might have been...
In fact, the Manics wouldn't land a number 1 until 6 years
After
later.
2001, I'm sure that wouldn't be a popular name.
This coming 3 years after the mysterious disappearance of the celebrated songwriter and guitarist Richie Edwards.
Disappearance?
Their music is pure rock, something that US rock enthusiasts could easily get behind, or so it would seem.
What happened? Was he found? There's something creepier about scarier about a disappearance than like a murder. Even though the worst case scenario of a disappearance would be a murder, it's still somehow more, I don't know.
Easily get behind, or so it would seem. But while the Manics became iconic figures overseas, their sound just never translated to American mainstream consumers. Decades after the loss of Edwards, however, the Manics continue to wail. Number 3, Pulp. By the time of this band's success during the mid-90s Britpop era, they had already been together well over 15 years.
So British. I like Britain, okay? I like the UK. And so just seeming extremely British to me, it just kind of gives it a plus.
And until then, Pulp had never actually landed a gold record, let alone an American hit. But albums like Different Class and This Is Hardcore teased at a potential American crossover, with the latter finding its way to the US charts in 1996. At this time, though, reported drug use and internal scuffling shook up the band, and Pulp's final album was ultimately released in the early fall of 2001.
Is this fair, guys? I think if you go from the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, or if you go from 60s music, late 60s music, to 2000s music. In America, I feel like the music changed much more than the British music, I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the incorporation of rap and hip-hop in the late 80s and 90s. But then you have pop. Not to say that there aren't, you have the Spice Girls in the UK. You have, but I think Britain really kept to that sort of rock genre for much longer than America. Especially in the 90s. I think it really started to separate. Maybe that's because of the popularity of rap and hip hop. That's just kind of the top of my head. But pop and stuff like that.
Peaking at number 6 in the UK charts. For a brief time, this group was on par with the likes of Oasis, but like the Gallaghers, Pulp just couldn't manage to keep the unit together. Number 2, The Jam. Fronted by the multi-talented Paul Weller, a man known for his distinct British compositions, this band came, saw and conquered during their decade-long existence. Well, at least in the UK.
First felt a fist, and then a kick. Could now smell their breath.
Aesthetically, The Jam preceded punk, and they called it quits just as the new wave took off in the early 80s. In between, they released 6 acclaimed studio albums, with the last 5 climbing the UK charts. Truth be told, The Jam had somewhat of a steady presence in the US charts during their run, but despite their stylized look and obvious talent, the party ended with the 1982 release, The Gift. And just like that, The Jam was gone before Americans could catch on.
Okay. I like this. I actually kind of enjoy this.
It's musicians fronted by the Canes.
Felt a fist and then a kick. Could now smell their breath.
Aesthetically, the jazz in between. Truth be told, the jam look and obvious like that. The jam was gone before Americans could catch on.
This is the first point in the video where I have the itch to look up the songs. They
Before
sound
we
good.
unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
The Jam. I gotta remember that. The Jam.
Spent the evening unpacking books from boxes. You passed me up so as not to break a promise.
Meet me on the mad parade when the midnight bells are chiming.
Number 1, The Stone Roses.
Bells are chiming.
It's interesting how it seems like as we've gotten further down the list, the less I've recognized the bands, but the more I've liked the music.
If you're even vaguely familiar with the bravado and attitude of Oasis, well, let's just say the Gallagher brothers were inspired by the Stone Roses. This is a band that once said America doesn't deserve us yet, and while they may have been right,
Respect that.
the Stone Roses didn't seem in a hurry to record consistent music after the renowned 1989 debut.
Let me put you in the picture. Let me show you what I mean. The Messiah is my sister. Ain't no king, man, she's my queen.
In fact, it took a full 5 years for the Manchester group to drop a second album, and the band folded for good less of 2 years later. Since then, there has always been talks of a reunion, but it just never seems to happen. And so the Stone Roses will forever remain an acclaimed British rock band that failed to live up to their crossover potential. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other
I enjoyed that. Again, I'm not a very music obsessed person at all. I enjoy it like every human being on the planet does. I enjoy all. I'm positive you can find a song or two in every genre that I like that pleases my brain. But I like the sound of this one a lot. The Jam. It's a great name too. The Jam. All right, love y'all. Hope you're all doing well. Would appreciate any comments down below. What your favorite band was on the list, or if they left one out you think should have been on there. Yeah. Hopefully I'll see you guys next video. Bye, guys.